Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Evergreen RX. I'm your host, Hayden, licensed mental health therapist, Cancer Moon, and the first to get deep at any party. And today we've got another special consult episode. Yay! I get to call in another professional or friend or expert on something that I consider to be important about life or is related to whatever question we're answering this week. And so it's super fun for me. Good to have on cool people and hopefully fun for you guys so that we can really harness the best wisdom and the greatest advice and guidance in relation to whatever it is that the dilemma of the week is about. And so this episode, we are going to be talking to Eleanor Lee, who is a great creator for any of you Austin girlies, people that are local to the podcast. Local that are based where I am based, because Eleanor, she wears many hats, but she has a Instagram that is dedicated to going and trying and doing new things in Austin. And so she knows how to find the coolest spots and ways to get out in the city and meet new friends and try new things. So whether or not you're actually local to Austin, I thought it was super relevant to the question, which is all about trying new things and getting out there, because Eleanor is an expert on putting herself out in the world and having novel experiences and adventures and making friends. As she says, she is a one of her superpowers is making friends. So we could all use the wisdom from Eleanor. So I'm going to read us the question and then we'll jump into the consult. All right, it says, Dear Evergreen, I'm really stuck in this routine where I play it safe all the time. Same people, same places, same habits. I want to get out more, do fun or new things, but honestly, it feels kind of scary and overwhelming. I'm worried I'll look awkward or not fit in, or that I just won't enjoy it like I hope. How do you push yourself to try new stuff and get out there without the stress or the pressure? Okay.
Ooh, okay. That's a good one. Okay, so I talk about making friends a lot. I used to talk about it even more like 2 years ago because I think it is one of my superpowers.
Ooh,
But I do think you have to be a little uncomfortable. Like there's no point in making a new friendship that you have to put yourself out there. A few things that I think are like a little low lift is getting really familiar with certain spaces and becoming regulars there. It makes you more comfortable. So, for example, if you're really into Pilates, if you go to the same Pilates studio the same time every single week, then you start to get to know the instructors. And if
mm-hmm.
you were to see someone at the class that you're like, oh, I think we could vibe, you're already in a really comfortable environment where you feel like you own that space, you know that space, and
Yeah.
it can help you be more yourself. Like if you're going into a new environment, say like a run club, and it's brand new, it's going to be hard, but that repetition, if you go to that run club and you
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, I don't even have to talk to anyone today, I just have to show up and run. And if you continue to show up, you're going to feel more and more comfortable. And then it's going to be way easier to make friends. And you just got to like
Yeah.
put yourself out there in that way. And you don't need to like do everything the first time. You just need to show up. And it will naturally happen when you become comfortable in a space. So something that's really easy for me in the beginning was like a coffee shop. You have
Yeah.
to interact with the barista. It's a very common thing every single day. You're eventually going to be like, hey, like, what do you like to do for fun? Or something's going to come up and then you're going to chat with the barista every time. And then maybe someone will jump in and you'll start to meet people and feel so comfortable in that space. And then a city starts to feel like home to me.
That's such a good point. I love like just where you went right off the bat, because I can totally understand what you're saying about kind of gaining almost a sense of ownership a little bit
Hmm.
over the place that you're going. Like, I feel like it's the same thing when you're in high school and you come as the freshman and all of the, upperclassmen or sophomores or whatever, like kind of welcoming you, or there's
Yeah.
something of like you're coming into their space.
Hmm.
But by the time you're a senior, it's like this is my space. Like I know the halls, I know where the rooms are, I know the teachers, like, and there is kind of that foundation there that is so much more comfortable, even if
Yeah.
you're like just kind of doing your own thing. It's like going to someone's house versus having someone to yours. There's
Hmm.
like a sense of like,
Exactly. You
okay, not
feel like
everything's
you're more
new.
confident because you aren't like, where do I go? Or like, where do I
Yeah.
get my water? Or like, you're just like, oh, I'm doing my thing. And then things are more naturally going to happen that way.
Yeah, I think also because of the energy that you
Hmm.
can bring, like, in this
Totally.
question, feeling like awkward about like not fitting in or maybe like doing something wrong. I know I felt that when I go to like a new yoga studio or something. I'm like, wait, where do I put
Yeah,
my mat up?
totally.
Like, am I gonna
A new
kind of
class,
break?
you're like,
Yeah.
but you have to get over that hump. And that's the hard thing. It's like, you got to get over that first hump. And then, so I know for like people, for example, like for a church, like say it's a church, you need to say, I'm going to go 6 times. And you
Yeah.
have to, if you hate it the first time, you like, nope, I got to go 6 times. That's like anything. It's like your Pilates
Yeah.
studio, their coffee shop. And then if you don't like it after 6 times, try something else for 6 times. But at least give yourself that six where you're like, I'm setting a goal and I don't have to talk to anyone. I don't have to do anything, but I'm going to go 6 times and you're going to get more familiar. You're going to get more comfortable. And then maybe you sporadically meet someone and it's going to be great. So, like, my first date with my now fiance, I brought him to Soho House because I was
Hmm.
coming from LA and I knew Soho House like the back of my hand in
Yeah.
LA. And
Yeah.
I knew like that was my spot. And I knew even though I was newer to the Austin house, I knew I was going to be confident and
Uh-huh.
comfortable in this space. And he was going to be the one like, I don't know where I am. And I'm going to be the one who's like, I feel so confident and comfortable. And it really did come across like he talks about it in
Yeah.
when we first went on the date that I looked like a mob boss, like sipping my drink. But it's just like a confidence of knowing your space, knowing where you are, and knowing like being comfortable, like made the difference of me seeming really confident on
Oh
that
my
date.
gosh. That's so smart. It's like a hack. It makes me think about, how you can apply that to so many other situations too, like
Totally.
interviews or just any
Hmm.
situation where it's going to be a little bit more like vulnerable for
Hmm.
you, or a little bit there's going to be one new element, like having something that's at least familiar, or other parts that are um it's like if you could have everything else be comfortable. And
Yes.
then just that one thing, maybe going up and striking up a conversation with someone,
Hmm.
that's just the kind of foreign part, or the scary piece. But
Hmm.
everything else feels more secure.
Yes, I absolutely agree.
I'm also so interested because you said that you feel like making friends is kind of your superpower.
Yeah.
I want to know more about that.
Mm.
Because I feel like that's so, I mean, because clearly you're skilled at this because you're kind of bringing in this perspective to the question that I never would have thought of. That's why I like having these consults, because I'm like,
Hmm.
wait, hold on, this adds a different element, and I want to know more about how, you know,
Now making friends is my superpower.
yeah,
Do you know anything about the Enneagram or like personality types?
uh-huh,
So
yeah,
I do think your personality type matters. I'm definitely extroverted. I definitely have a little bit of ADHD. I definitely am like really interested in a lot of different things. But I am an Enneagram 2, which is a giver. And it has pros and cons, but like the Enneagram 2, like I will provide value sometimes to make my friends, which pros and cons. But like, for example, in LA, when I lived there, I had a photography studio and I would throw parties there and invite people. And it was really fun because it was like a rooftop in downtown. You could see
mm,
all of the city and like it's something that people would want to do. So in Austin, I throw a lot of theme parties. And I have a
mhm,
friend and we throw the most fun theme parties. We do croquet parties. We did like a blind wine tasting, which was really fun. We've done prom on a boat.
oh my
And
gosh,
like everyone's like, how do I find these friends? And I'm like, it's not that you have to find the friends, it's that you need to find the person who's going to throw the party.
uh-huh,
So
yeah,
people will come to a
yeah,
fun event. Um, And then honestly, the consistency thing, like I've been a part of a volleyball group for
Yeah.
4 years. I show up consistently. They're going to become your friends because you see them
Yeah.
once or twice a week, every single week. Like you are really going to get to know someone, you're on teams with different people, you meet them, you become close with some are like fun party friends, but like being consistent and showing up to things is huge. I go to a lot of events because
Mhm.
of like my job. And I meet a lot of different creators and then seeing them again and again and again, just showing up to these events, which are, not the same places, but you start to see the same people again and again
Yeah.
and again. And it's like, oh, what's up, Catherine? Like, this is the fourth time I've seen you this month. And, you start to become friends and then
Yeah.
learn a little bit more about each other. I also feel like I am bold and a confident person. So I always like make this joke. There's a girl named Jade, who like when I first moved here, she was like from California. I DM'd her like asking her to hang out. She never
Yeah.
responded. I saw her at an event like a year later and I was like, hi. And we were like chatting. I was like, you're going to think this is so funny. She's like, what's your Instagram? I was like, I've already messaged you. Like I messaged you to be my friend
Yeah.
like a year ago. And
Yeah.
she's like, wait, that's hilarious. And then we are friends now.
I
So
feel like some people would find that to be like so intimidating or like embarrassing or whatever, like, really get in their head. And I get it because, I've been the one, I've sent some cold DMs that have gotten no
yeah,
response. And then you're like, oh, good. Like,
yeah,
now you're going to see that I messaged you. But it really, I think that's a good example that it usually is not going to be interpreted or viewed as poorly as we might think it would be.
no,
Like, I'm sure that girl Jade was just kind of flattered and y'all are friends and it's totally fine. And I think in this person's question, like playing it safe, just going to the same places, same people, same habits, like part of that can be this feeling that you know either like I don't want to be uncomfortable at all, which I like that you said part of it is just you're going to have to be a little bit
mhm,
uncomfortable. It's like par for the course.
yes,
um but also that feeling like maybe I'm going to do something that's embarrassing or like offbeat or other
mhm,
people will judge me for it. And it sounds like part of your superpower is just being confident and kind of
yeah.
like moving past
It's
that. And
not,
I wonder
it's
if
not that deep, like
right. Okay.
it
Yeah.
really isn't. But for some people, it totally is. And I understand. I think that like you have to be a good friend at the end of the day. You have to be a listener. You have to ask people about themselves. Like,
Hmm.
I guess I haven't really talked about like the fact that you have to be someone that people like being around. And part of that is being more interested in other people than you're interested in
Mm,
yourself and like providing value to other people. And like, I have a women's golf club and I get women together at once a month to play golf. And like, people are looking for those spaces and places. And if you're looking for friends,
yeah.
you have to know other people are too. And
Yeah.
so you can't be alone in that. But yeah, it's not that deep. It's been like a motto of mine as of recently. And I have to remind myself, like, it's not that deep. Like,
Well, because with you being someone that goes out and is constantly doing new things, because like that's part of your job,
mhm,
and that's really what made me want to talk to you about this. Like, what is your best kind of maybe, yeah, the mottos that you tell yourself or how you started getting into it of just like being able to go out and really embrace new experiences and like just, yeah, trying something different.
I think what's been really great is loving being alone. Like, I love to go and do these things by myself. And yes, I love when
Yeah.
I can bring someone with me. But like, if I'm trying a new like coffee shop or matcha shop or anything, I like want to take myself on a solo date. And you don't need to have a friend who's interested in the same things necessarily
Yeah.
to go and do something. Like, my
Mhm.
fiance doesn't really love filming. He loves like being with me and being present. So like, yeah, I'd love for him to be in all my videos, but it's not going to happen. And like, this is my hobby and I need to be confident, if no one's going to go with me, I'm still going to go by myself. And
Yeah.
I think that's been big. And then, yeah, there's always times where friends want to come, but I also don't have a typical 9 to 5 and my friends have 9 to 5. So it's like, yeah, at lunchtime, I might be driving over to Fizz Fusion to try this like
Yeah.
Diet Coke drink because I want to. And it's something I would have wanted to do. anyway.
think that's helpful because I feel like, part of the thing of wanting to do new or fun things, like maybe the current friend group that you have or like the people in your life, they're not as interested in this
Mhm.
hobby of yours. Maybe you want to go learn how to sew and you don't know anybody else that wants to do it. And that's where I think people can start to pull themselves back a little bit, um, because it's scary.
Mhm.
Uh, and I like what you're saying of just kind of reminding yourself, like, is this something that I genuinely want to do? That I like, maybe I would love to be able to go do it with someone else, but if that's not available to me, then can I do it anyway? Like, can I at
Mhm.
least try, like you said, 6 times or whatever of doing it anyway and seeing if it gets easier? Because one thing I know about humans and like human behavior is so much of it is habituation.
Mhm.
And so, I think what I'm hearing from you is there's a part of you that just has habituated as well to showing up to new
Yeah.
things, to doing them on your own, and to finding a lot of the joy in it now.
Totally. Like, I was so stoked to join, like, a pottery class on my own. I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, I'm joining a pottery studio," and my fiance's like, "Who is Lauren doing it with you? Is Carly?" Like, "Nope, I'm doing it by myself," and I've met pottery friends. It's like when
Yeah.
you're going to a class in, college and you don't know anyone, but then you make friends in your class. It's the same thing of, like,
Yeah.
if you go to a pottery studio and you join pottery or, like, whatever your hobby is, you're gonna meet people there.
Yeah. I think that's a good point that we kind of used to be forced in a way to do new
Mhm.
things all the time. Like, I mean, your schedule is always changing in school. Like, you're gonna be in classes with people you don't know. You don't get to have so much control over it. And
Mhm.
there's a piece of like getting older where we can have so much more control
True.
over how we spend our time. But remembering that that skill, that flexibility, adaptability is still within you because,
Totally.
anybody that's gone through, you know, elementary, middle school, high school, whatever, has had to flex that muscle a lot from a young age. And now that we don't have to do it, we can still make the choice to flex that muscle again and just be in new situations that maybe we don't feel like we have as much control over, or it's just not our same old, same old.
I totally agree. I love it.
Yeah. So I wonder before, because I have a little question that I want to ask you at the end, but do you have any more kind of guidance that you think would be helpful for people, even just in finding things to do, things to try? Maybe someone's feeling a little bit inspired and they're like, well, where do I even look? How do I add this novelty into my life? Thoughts?
Unfortunately, chronically online,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
how I sound like, "You should spend more time on the internet." I'm like, "That's
Okay.
not exactly, what I recommend," but there are people who do the work for you in every single city. There's gonna be
Mm,
one content creator that's gonna have a list. There's going like, you kinda gotta research, even if it's ChatGPT.
yeah.
It's like, "Okay, I'm interested in this, pottery studios in my area." I think people can get really overwhelmed with choice. This is
Mm,
another thing. It's like, "Okay, I want to go to Pilates, but which studio do I go to?" And then you're overwhelmed.
yeah.
You just got to take the next step forward. The next thing that, don't make it such a big deal is like, I feel like we get really bogged down. Okay, so when I talk about starting my business, like people get really overwhelmed with like the big picture. And
Mhm.
it's like, okay, what's the next step for me? And that might be doing a little research. Or it's like you've researched and you kind of just hasn't picked, then maybe you just got to pick one. And
Yeah.
you just got to move forward and keep moving forward and not getting stuck in the abundance of choices. Like, I could also see the flip side where they're like, there's so much stuff to do and like, I don't really know. And it's like,
Yeah.
just do one thing. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to try every matcha in Austin. Just try one. Like, whatever you want to do and to keep growing and make yourself, experience something new. I think you just pick one. I
Yeah.
hope that answered the
No,
question.
yeah, it's super
Okay.
helpful. No, I really like that. I appreciate it so much. I mean, such good perspective. And I think there's even something really inspiring that, maybe anybody listening can let me know what y'all think. But even just hearing from someone like you that's kind of on the far side of the spectrum in terms of like comfort in doing these things, being
Hmm.
alone, making friends, going and putting yourself in not in new foreign situations. Like it can be helpful to hear from that side of things to kind of show like where we can get to, what the
Hmm.
trajectory is. Like do this enough times and it'll feel easier, it'll feel natural. You'll have friends that you've met and it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy in a sense. Like the more you do it, the more good feelings that you get. And so then the easier it is. And so the stress and the pressure that this person talks about feeling, like while there might always be a little bit of discomfort that can come up, it won't feel so stressful, and maybe the reward starts to outweigh the fear.
Yeah, I feel like there's a really happy, healthy balance because there's also, I want the people who are maybe more introverts to know there's also the con side of like
Mm,
doing something. Like you see these people on social media and they're like always doing something and always going somewhere, and you're like, oh, I wish I had their life. Like I struggle with overbooking myself,
yeah. Uh-huh.
with not getting enough rest,
Hmm.
with, working too much. And then I wind up exhausted. And
Yeah.
so I think there is a really healthy, happy medium where, like, if you're like, at home and you're seeing all these people, don't think it's so glamorous, like, and amazing all the time. It
Hmm.
might look that way, but just know like social media is not real life.
Hmm.
Just because someone has friends online doesn't mean they have genuine friendships with depth. I think just because someone can become your immediate friend doesn't mean that, like, I'm a big advocate for not friend love bombing.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like we're absolutely best friends. It's like friendship takes time, and like you're not going to just immediately move to a new city or try to start over, and it's going to happen in a month for you. This is going
Yeah.
to be something where like a friendship really takes going through things and having them, like, the moment where, they're kind of going through something and they decide to open up.
Yeah.
You need those moments to build a friendship, and don't just think that things happen like this, because they
Hmm.
don't, and it's unrealistic, and know that like you're doing better than you
Hmm.
think you are.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, such a good point. And so, Eleanor, I am curious because of my podcast being centered around living well, how we can kind of make our lives even fuller and richer. What are your three top must-haves for living well?
Yes. As of recently, I am like on my movement for sure.
Yeah.
Right now, it's 10,000 steps for me, and weightlifting. Like that's,
Mm-hmm.
I, I've, I've struggled with like my own mental health, depression, all those things, and movement has been like so key for me to just staying happy, sane, great person. It just like makes me feel like me.
Yeah.
Um, and then trying new things has been like really good. Just always like be growing and evolving, and never like, I just don't want to stay stagnant. And trying new things can be the smallest thing, like making your own strawberry syrup in a matcha at home,
Yeah.
or it could be signing up for a 10-week course or a marathon, like whatever that is for you, feeling like you're moving forward, you're having purpose, and you're growing as a person. That
Mm-hmm.
has been like really big for me, and it looks different all the time. Because you're not going to be able to like work on everything all at once. Like if I'm
Oh my
really
God.
focusing
Yeah.
on something in fitness, then like maybe it's going to be lacking in work that month, or my friendships are going to be lacking, or like I'm really working towards friendship this month, and you
Yeah.
can't do them all at once. We're only human. Just healthy relationships and fostering healthy relationships and making that a top priority, like family, and then friends. I've always, like, in my own relationship, prioritized my friendships and my family, and that's been huge. Like, I know a lot of girls get into a romantic relationship and they like lose sight of
Mm-hmm.
specifically friendships, and I think not one person can be everything for you.
Yeah.
And we have different friends for different reasons. We have like different loves of our lives for different reasons. Like, I think you can have a friend where you like connect so deeply on like certain subjects or topics. Like, I have my friends I talk to about business. I have my, like, and I can't put all that pressure on my partner.
Yeah.
And so, making sure I have a variety of people, not like 100 acquaintances, but like a few key people here and there that I can lean on. Um,
Yeah.
and then actually, I should probably, if I was to put one before that, like my faith is really important to me, and being grounded in my spirituality and my faith is also extremely important. That should
Yeah.
probably be in my top three, but I'll give you four. So those are
Yeah.
my
A
four.
bonus.
Yeah.
A
So,
bonus. Yeah, I love that. Oh, how great. Those are really important, and I really love what you said too about, you can't be focusing on everything all at once, and really allowing, even, with the relationships too, like while you're building one friendship, that might make take more energy, the same way when you're really working on your business or your like side hustle that you're trying to start up or whatever, that other things might take a little bit of a back burner. That doesn't mean we're forgetting about them or giving up on them, but there really is this uh there's a reality to the amount of time and energy that we have. And I heard that a lot through all your different top three, four
yeah.
things. So I think that's really cool too.
I feel like there's a saying that I always remember. It's that we overestimate what we can do in the short term, but
Yeah,
underestimate what we can do in the long term.
so true.
And reminding yourself that, and like having grace for yourself, it's like you can't do everything all at once. And you might see other people like say they're on their fitness journey, but you're really focused on your friends right now. And you're like, oh, I wish I was so jacked, but I'm like focusing on friends right now. Whatever that is for you, it's like you're you're underestimating, though, what you can do,
Yeah.
focusing on a lot of things over a long period of time.
Yep. No, I think that's so true. I like to journal and stuff, and sometimes I look back on, this day last year or whatever, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that was
Mhm,
only a year ago." Even though in the day to day or the week to week, I sometimes feel like time is moving so fast.
mhm.
But yeah, it really is like, we kind of shift focus and it naturally flows, and then you look back and you're like, "Oh my god, everything I wanted to work on now has been built up a little bit more." And yeah, well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Let people know where they can find you. I'm going to have you linked below, but if there's anything you want to
Thank you.
say to listeners, then where to keep up
I
with
guess we
you.
talked a lot about ATX with Eleanor on Instagram. Eleanor Lee on TikTok is where I post. I feel like my TikTok, I'll post like a little bit more like fun things that you might not get on my Instagram. Like
Mhm.
I did videos on like how to make friendships and stuff like that. I think I'll lean more into TikTok. So if you're looking for more of that content, it's going to be there. And my pottery journeys on TikTok, all those
Nice.
things. Um, and yeah, that's really it.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Eleanor. It was great to talk to you.
Thank you, Hayden. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Okay, that was so great. I feel like I'm so inspired after talking to Eleanor. I just her energy of like being able to get out there and be herself and to be confident. It's really contagious, but I'm also just like sitting here thinking about like that first piece of advice on committing to kind of like creating a third space for yourself, because how much less intimidating does that sound when it's like I'm just gonna pick someplace, I'm gonna go. Yeah, the first time it's gonna be scary, but then I'll start to learn like how things operate and what people do, and I'll recognize the instructors and they'll recognize me or whatever it may be, so that then you really get to get some solid footing underneath yourself. And also like how great to have a third space, as they say, or multiple, where you feel known and you feel part of the community. And even just one thing I feel like would mix up the same monotony that, this listener's talking about, that I've definitely felt in my life before too, of just like day in, day out doing the same thing, just mixing one new place in, new faces. I feel like would make such a difference. So I feel like we got like a double whammy, kind of like how to make friends advice and also like how to get out there and do like cool new things. So feeling really grateful for that. But yeah, go find her, follow her. She makes great content, and I love to have us all support each other and support, not only what I'm making, but the people that are part of the Evergreen community, what they're making, what you guys are making, like who's kind of adding to the conversation in a important way. So yeah, Thanks so much for listening. Share this with a friend that you want to go try something new with, and I will catch you guys next Wednesday.